Coach?
Not much good.
How you doing, Coach? Great, great.
All right, so you mentioned up there that NIL is a good idea if you kept boosters and agents out. How do you do that?
Not now.
It's out of the box.
Could have been the beginning. Yes, the other passed the rule, the agents could be involved, and the boosters could be involved.
Well, the problem is they didn't pass it.
No, they did pass the rule that agents could talk to kids.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Thinking that they're going to advise them to stay in college. Really?
To turn down money.
That's not what an agent does, is it? If you're an agent, would you advise your client to stay in college? Don't
Well,
say you would.
depends how much money they could make, I guess.
Don't say you would.
It depends how much money they could make.
No,
right?
it doesn't really, because if you have the kid right then, even if he isn't going to make as much money as possible, you don't let him go back to college and maybe lose him to some other agent the next year when you have him. That's the way agents think. Now, somebody that has the interest of the athlete might think like you think.
Well, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
I've never seen an agent tell a kid to go back to college.
I gotta say, Coach, I gotta commend you. I'm out on the EYBL scenes, and I always see you out there. Not a lot of coaches, a good bit of them do get out of the EYBL scene and make sure they're putting a face to the players. But you do a great job of that. What enjoyment do you get out of that?
Well, I like to watch games, really. Recruiting, the aspect in the summer of watching games, I enjoy that. You know, it's fun to do. You have to see players, they have to see you there, and you still can evaluate players and find players that, you know, maybe a little under the radar in the summertime. So it's all part of, you know, what we do. We all do it. We all do it.
This is obviously a new era in college basketball with the NIL. But I want you to just, if you could, just take a step back and think of some of the players you have coached and you've been around. Out of that sum of guys, excellent talent, who would you say would probably have been one of the most top earners in this era in NIL?
The exciting players, Pearl Washingtons, the Sherman Douglases, John Wallace, guys that are really good players and really good people. They were in the right way, you know. A popular player makes money organically, like it's supposed to be. But it's, in most cases, it wouldn't, for most players, it wouldn't happen that way because you gotta, you know, there's a limited number of like autograph signings and this and that you're gonna do. So it ends up being when you let boosters in, well, we're gonna give this amount of money and this kid's gonna do this. That's what it's turned into.
So you would agree that the biggest thing that if you're going to benefit from this would probably be your creativity and you being an entrepreneur at heart?
That helps. There's a lot of girls that are on social media that make a lot of money through this, which is great, and I'm all for it. My son had a great junior year, so he made a lot of money in the NIL because he was popular. You know, did a lot of little things, but they all add up. Whereas other players don't get that. So you end up with a team of 2 or 3 guys that are going to get NIL money and 7 guys that aren't. That's never a good thing. So,
if you could, you're also part of the Nike brand, and they just had a couple high school kids that they brought on, and they're doing a great job of bringing on some of these females, giving them NIL deals. If you could just speak on that.
That's a good thing, I think, because it's a separate company. Any company that comes in and does that for a player, that's a great benefit of the NIL. It's what I have a problem with when a company comes in and gives an athlete a lot of money when it's not really what organically would happen. That's where the problem, I think, arises. But that's, and some guys are just more popular and more marketable, and they're going to make a lot of money without any booster support. The national companies, you know, the top 3 or 4 or 5 players in the country are going to get a lot of money that way. Or in a state where basketball is really, really popular, I think that in those situations, players are going to be able to make more money in NIL situations.
Jim, somebody who's coached at your alma mater a long time, does it do anything for you to see Hubert at North Carolina and now John and Kenny coming back to their schools?
Well, I think it's always good to hire the right people, and if they're alums, that's good. You know, I like to see assistant coaches get promoted because they've done the work and helped build a program. So I think it's always good to see that, and you know, it doesn't always work, but nothing always works. You know, UCLA hired several really, really good head coaches for a while, and you know, they couldn't do what the other guy had done. Obviously, nobody could. But yeah, I always like to see the assistant coach who's worked there for a long time move in and take over. And those two guys, obviously, John is recruited great, and Hubert won and has done a great job in North Carolina. So yeah, that's always, I like to see that. That's how I got started.
Jim, it seems like the transformation committee that the NCAA is working with is maybe going to do some stuff with enforcement and maybe eliminate postseason bans. That seems like that's on the table. Any thoughts on where that's going?
Yeah, I don't think there should be any enforcement anymore. I think they should drop the enforcement. I think they should drop all the academic requirements and let colleges decide who they want to come to their school, who they want to be eligible. And you could eliminate the clearinghouse and probably 200 jobs around the country. And each school would do it like it used to be. You have your school, and you're responsible for your students, who you want to come into school. If you want a kid with 1.8, he can come. If you want a kid with 3 O's, you can get those. We eliminate a lot of headaches and problems. And compliance now, what does it matter if somebody takes somebody out to dinner? Right. Guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in college basketball. Why do we need that rule? Like, you can't take somebody for lunch when you know.
It's all for show.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't matter anymore. It's you know, it's like in professional sports, they all get paid, so they can do whatever they want. If they want to go earn money someplace else, if they want to go, you know, do a commercial, or they do it. Well, college is professional. Everybody's capable of getting paid, or is getting paid, either the right way or the wrong way, whatever. So, what do we need all that stuff? I really don't understand. Conferences could take it over if they want to have a certain standard of rules, you know, abide by certain things. When you can recruit, I think those are good rules. When, you know, how much you can go out, those kind of rules are good. Dead periods, that's good. But it doesn't matter if somebody takes somebody to lunch. You know, and as long as each school is happy with the academic progress that kids are making or not making. You allow transfer portals. It's been proven that transfers do not graduate as high a rate as students to stay. And now when people are going to transfer twice, you're not graduating people. You're just not going. And the transfer portal, I understand why kids leave if they're not playing. I mean, we got 10 guys, we have 12 guys on scholarships, 5 guys, 4, well, we'll play 9, but 3 guys aren't going to play probably, and 2 guys are not going to get enough shots, so there are 5 guys who are going to leave. So I don't know how you have it. They still talk about APR. And why would those guys stay? I understand that. They want to all play. Now, I don't think it's necessarily good that they all transfer. The statistics show, I don't have them on the top of my head, they're easily attainable and nobody's writing about it, nobody's talking about it. Hundreds of guys didn't get a scholarship. Hundreds. And I read another thing where it showed of all the transfers, the majority did worse where they transferred to than where they were. Who says that? Who talks about that? Who writes about that? It might not be majority, but it's a big percentage. Nobody. So kids just think it's a good thing. We're not educating people. We're not talking to them about, yeah, oh, you can try, but is it going to really be good for you? I've had a couple guys transfer and play less than they played for us, and they were young, so they would have actually played more if they'd stayed. But, you know, that's when you give people freedom, sometimes they use it. It's not necessarily wisely, but that's fine. I'm all for transfers. I've always have been. If somebody's not happy and not playing, they should transfer. I've just seen too many guys that stuck it out and became really, really good players that were going to leave, played in national championship teams, had really good careers. That's our play. I'm just talking about our play. I've seen it other places too, where they've hung in there and stayed and worked through it. It's just too easy now to leave. It's too easy. And the biggest thing now, the NBA has started to go after our players. That's adding 2 more rounds in the draft, taking 18-year-olds. They're now going after our players. And what I ask is, because I've been involved with this for a long time and my sons are involved, there's now 17 players on an NBA team, 15 guaranteed, 2 two-ways. There's now 12 guys on their G League team. So each team in the NBA has 29 guys, times 30. All right?
Yeah.
That's 600, let's say, in that neighborhood. I'm not that good at math. All right? Where are all these kids that are coming out? Where are they going? There's no place up there for them. Second round picks are not making it now. Where are third and fourth round picks going to go? And the NBA doesn't have any place for these guys. I look at the roster, I look at the exhibition games, there's 22 guys on the teams. Where are they all going? You know? And there should be no rush to get out of college, because most of those guys are most of them are gonna really need a degree someday. Now, the very top players are not going to. But I'm not worried about those guys. They're fine. They're going to be fine. They always would be fine. But I don't know where those other guys are going to end up. And there's just so many guys that are trying to get almost no spots. And now we're expanding the draft and opening it up to 18-year-olds. I don't know. I just don't know where that ends up.
Can you, like, when you talk to guys, players about that, does it resonate, or does it just go?
Because every player is the guy that did make it. He looks at, well, that guy made it. Yeah, you're right. That guy, he wasn't very highly rated. He was picked late. He made it. There's 100 other guys that were right around that guy that didn't make it, but they all think they will be the guy. And I mean, I'm not going to discourage somebody. I've seen guys make it that I didn't think would make it, but for the most part, you know, we've devalued the college degree so much that nobody cares. They don't care.
Coach, I'm Shelby Swanson from the Daily Tar Heel, reporting a little bit on the expectations for Hubert Davis entering his second season. Just as a veteran coach in the ACC, what was your reaction to what he was able to do in his first season?
Well, I was really happy for him. I like him. He's a great guy, and he was fired about halfway through the year by the fan base. And if they have a bad season this year, we want to fire him again, just like all of us. You know, that's the way it is. They love John Schreier at Duke right now, and if he loses games, they won't love him. It's the business you're in. The better your recruiting is, the more kind of bad it is for you, because now you got to win. You know, you don't go to the national championship. You know, but everybody has those expectations. It's just the game. It's the way it is. But Hubert did a tremendous job bringing that team back. I saw them early in the middle of the year. They weren't playing well. And they're coming off a bad year. And they weren't playing well, and he turned that around, which was very hard to do. And I didn't see many North Carolina fans thinking that was going to happen halfway through the year last year, but I may be wrong.
You have